For legal reasons, I must inform you that Underqualified is meant for entertainment, and if you decide to take anything we say as advice, we are not legally responsible for the consequences should you do anything stupid, immoral, or illegal. On that note, anything said represents the opinions of the person who said it, and not other underqualified panelists, Uncle Mustache, or any other member of the Finelygroomed crew.
Is this all there is? There's nothing to see.
This is Underqualified, the only relationship advice show where we will literally talk to an empty room if we have to. But it's nice that there are people here, so yay. We actually do a podcast. If you've never listened to it before, I know you have, but we are all people who are horribly underqualified to give relationship advice, and yet we're going to do it anyway. So I'm going to start. I'll tell you, before we take your questions, I'll tell you why each of us are underqualified to give relationship advice. For me, and by the way, my name's Jesse because I'm supposed to do that and introduce myself, and they will too. I've only had 3 relationships in my entire life, and none of them has lasted more than 6 months. So I have been a part of one RPG campaign that has lasted longer than all of my relationships combined. So I should not be giving advice, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is Christy. Go for it.
So I always end up in relationships, I guess technically, but I always end up with guys that I spend 90% of my time complaining about and the other 10% totally avoiding.
Hi, I'm Holden. I'm just generally bad at things. Spend most of my time at work instead of at home or seeing ladies. I've got other ones. They'll come up later. Believe me, I have issues.
Yeah. So now, if you guys, whatever you want to know about anything to do with relationships, we will bestow our wisdom upon you. And you will have your answers, and hopefully a few laughs along the way.
How do you extricate yourself from a situation where you still want to talk to this person, but you need them to put on the brakes very strongly and very quickly, or you're going to bash your head into a wall?
That's a good question.
For starters, it really helps if you tell them to put on the brakes. Like, whoa, Buster, this is a little out of control. Let's tone it down for a minute, and let's talk like regular adults instead of like creepy adults.
Using those words?
Those words.
No. Using tact, maybe.
See, that's what they need to
Tact.
Using tact. Communication. Try out that communication thing. See if they can actually do it.
Two-thirds
You're
of-
teaching me how to do
Right,
that.
well,
Yeah.
2/3 of this table have tact.
Okay.
1/3 of us
This third
don't.
does not.
No, I'm sorry, that means 1/3 of the table has tact, and that's you.
Oh.
I definitely don't have it.
So,
I don't feel like I do either, but okay.
Well, none of us have
I know
tact.
that it exists, but I don't use it.
Well, then theoretically, if we're
Use
going to use...
tact.
Yeah, if you... ways that you would use tact is not quite as blunt as that.
I appreciate the compliments. However, you're coming on kind of strong. Can we get to know each other first?
That's tactful?
I'm not gonna
I feel
lie,
like that's just-
That smells like straight gasoline.
So apparently I fail at tact too. Sorry.
Okay.
I mean, I still maintain honesty is the best policy. If somebody's coming on strong, just be like, hey, slow your roll. Let's talk for a minute. This is kind of creepy.
But don't use
I
creepy.
was gonna say, I feel like saying
Yeah.
that shuts down all conversation. when you
Pad-
bring out the word creepy.
Yeah, pad the words, because nobody wants to, like, as soon as creepy comes out, it's like, oh gosh, like, and it's panic mode. Because that's, like, one of the hardest labels to get rid of. Which is why I try not to throw it around. But, you know, some things are creepy.
Being
Like-
a psycho.
Huh?
Being a psycho.
Yeah, that's a much better
Yes.
I
word.
don't think he's a psycho.
Look, you can recover from psycho faster than you can recover from creepy.
Yeah, I go for psycho. It's more normal than psycho. Like, there was one of the questions on OkCupid, this matching thing, that was, would you date a serial killer? And I still haven't answered it. I saw it 2 days ago because I haven't figured out yet, would I
Look-
date a serial killer?
Well, I mean, let's face it, they're really charismatic.
They-
are.
right.
Like, I know a guy who could be a serial killer. I wouldn't be surprised if he told me he killed a person or two.
And, I mean, I watched Dexter. You know serial killers are relatable.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, like, I keep thinking about my friend and going, you know, he had an active death threat on someone that I loved, and I was pretty sure he was actually going to do it.
I'm just saying,
Maybe serial killer.
Ted Bundy had a whole following. Charles Manson, crazy ladies, all right? They're doing something right.
Hanging
except
off
for,
of every arm.
Except for this carving a swastika in their forehead thing and then trying to get parole. It doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
Most of the time that's frowned on.
Points for effort.
Right.
Yes.
But I would go with what Holden said, basically, is just say pump the brakes, but yeah, tactfully, don't use quite as harsh language. And like the way to do tact, it's easier in written form than speech, is you can read it and be like, is this bad if someone said it to me? Like if they use the word creepy towards me, how would I feel about that? I think that's the best way to figure out if it's tactful or not. That's my advice. Does that help? Yay? Okay. Questions. This is...
Underqualified. We answer relationship questions, and we're not qualified to give you advice on them.
We all fail at relationships or
Yes.
manage to keep getting into unhealthy ones.
That
or,
we complain about 90%
Right.
of the time. Yes.
Yet we're going to bestow our knowledge of what not to do and what we think might work to people who ask. So, do either of you have a question?
I want to ask you a question. It's not really serious.
That's totally
perfectly
fine.
If we do a podcast of this, if you'd heard some of the questions that we get, they're not all serious.
Let's say she dates a guy and has a small dick. What after that? If she's not satisfied.
I don't like that we're not included in this.
You can date people with small dicks too.
Just automatically, we don't get to date people like that.
Well, I mean, I guess the good news here is that she's pretty much counting us out of the small dick category, though. Like, that's very complimentary, and I appreciate it.
Boom!
I wasn't even included. I can include him.
Right, exactly. Like, if you really want to get on board, Jesse, like, the option is still
So
there.
you're still out. You're still good, fine to go. But well, see, I complain about everyone that I date constantly, so probably I would just complain.
Like, even
I mean,
if it
like-
was fine, like if it was normal, just
I
be
mean,
like,
if it was
But I guess, like, another question here would be, like, is it a deal breaker? If they
it's-
just drop the drawers and you just look at it and you're like, oh my god, seriously, that's what you're working with? Like,
it depends on what else they can do.
you say that, but I mean, like,
are we talking like arithmetic and good grammar, or are we talking like
In
in the
bed.
bed? Okay.
What else they can do in bed?
I'm just making sure where your priorities are.
right, I
That's
mean,
what I'm wondering.
we've got to clarify these things.
Yeah.
What else they can do in bed? Yeah, it would depend on that.
So, I mean, like, if you're willing to accept that they've got other talents, now, if they're completely talentless and have a small penis,
Then no, yes, deal breaker.
I mean, you're just up the creek on that one. You may want to...
I don't know anything.
Right, but I'm just saying, these are things that you've got to remember when the drawers come off.
yes.
I mean, it's an unfortunate thing that we can't all just walk around with our junk out so that we can judge each other based on that.
I
Like,
think
that would-
it's actually very fortunate that you don't.
I'm just saying, it would really, like, you would be like, ooh, no, ooh. That's all right, I could deal with that, but no, that. Ugh. How does he live with himself?
All you gotta do is when he whips it out, don't laugh.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, trust me, there is no way quicker to just ruin somebody's ego. And we've actually already had this conversation once before because Jesse finds all private parts funny.
Doesn't matter who they're on or what gender.
So,
Yes.
I mean,
They're funny.
You know, you've got to preface that, like, going into it and be like, look, I'm gonna laugh when this happens, so just know in advance, it's not you, it's your privates.
Could be swinging to your knees. I'm still gonna giggle at it. Like, just let them know.
I mean, we could always go back and, like, revisit a few classics. Like, if
Yeah.
you're out on a date with a girl,
Yeah.
and you just bought a nice dinner for her, and she excuses herself to go to the restroom, and she comes back a little bit vomity, and you find out she's bulimic. Do you ask for your money back?
Oh,
Because she did kind of just waste it.
Exact, like,
Oh.
you know,
did, but that's
just-
harsh.
it's a good,
That's
it's
hard.
a
really
good
harsh.
question. Come on.
I would say no, and because it would be very much like,
Wait,
You're like,
have
I
you
would-
already paid?
Well, I mean, the pay-in is coming, I guess.
Well, then go Dutch.
How do you know she's not allergic?
Who's allergic to steak?
Well, it's
Who eats steak if they're allergic
Well,
to it?
I'm just saying, if she's a vegetarian and you've taken her out to a steak restaurant, you've already messed up on that front.
Right,
Like,
so why are you asking for your money back?
right, but that's not entirely. That is your fault. That is 100% your fault.
Her stomach might not agree with it for this one reason. It might not have been cooked all the way.
yeah.
Okay, but I mean, like, you know,
So-
these are why we ask these questions. These are good questions
So
to
you have
ask.
to tactfully ask if she is bulimic.
Just ask if she's all right. How about you start with that one? Hey,
See, that's
are
what I
you
was
all
actually
right?
gonna go
you
for.
Look sick.
Let's face it. What is
You look sick on the date. Sounds like that.
Yeah, tell the person, hey, you look pretty sick. Are you,
But the other thing to get
greener
into,
on
like,
the
Tact,
gills.
remember?
Yeah.
you know, I've heard it said that girls don't like it when guys are constantly like, "Are you okay? Is something wrong?"
I feel like
I mean,
once
if you're
during the date is
constantly
okay.
like that, no, not cool.
Yeah. Once
But
during
if
a
you
date.
ask, yeah, it's nice. If I just went in the bathroom and threw up and my date didn't notice, I would be mad.
Right, but like,
There's
what
no
if you
second
just
date.
went in there and it was
Yes.
just like gross poops, and you came back out and he was like, "Is everything all right?" Like, because at that point you've got to deal with the embarrassment issue of, oh man, how does he know?
I would be embarrassed and say, yes, I'm fine, thanks.
Turn bright red and then hope that he just drops the subject. Got it.
Yes.
Got something in the bathroom, you say, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good way to do it. That's why we're here. We answer these kind of questions for people.
But yeah, I would say no, you can't ask for your money back, but do be concerned with the person and be like, hey, are you all right? Because really, maybe they're not bulimic, and something didn't just agree with them.
Yep.
Well, I'm just saying, on the
then
plus side
you're
now, you know
nice
to take
person.
them out to a movie next time.
Well, if they do it twice, then they're probably bulimic.
Yeah.
You have that.
Or they have
Twice in a
chronic
row.
disorder.
Right.
Which could also be an issue long term.
Or maybe you're just wearing really awful aftershave. Who knows? Stranger things have happened.
I've gotten grossed out by people's aftershave and perfume, so that's understandable.
Well, and
Yeah.
in the words of a very conservative friend of mine's mother, the only people that should be able to smell your aftershave are what is it? Your wife and the hooker sitting in your lap.
Sounds like a very conservative
Yeah,
person.
it is. That's a nice quote. I like it.
Yeah. She was a classy lady.
You can also, if you think of a question, if you have one ready or not, you can interrupt us and be like, hey, shut up, I have an actual question that you guys should answer for me.
Hey, shut up. I have an actual question that you guys should answer for me.
Oh, good. What could it be?
This one is actually for you, Jesse, because you have joked in previous shows about how every woman that you're attracted to is a lesbian.
Yeah.
So I am
Like the groan.
I am
Yes.
borderline asexual. I identify as bisexual because it's easier than explaining that to people.
Yeah.
How do I improve my gaydar and find women who aren't, like, every woman I'm attracted to is really heterosexual, really in a relationship, and really, really Christian?
Apparently, we do not overlap in our liking of women.
Apparently not. So how do I learn to recognize your women?
Wow.
I'll trade you, actually. How about that? Then your only goal is to break them up with their boyfriends and swoop in.
That's easy. That was easy.
I'll just ask you guys how to do that, and I'll be like, and then I'll learn.
Yeah.
How do the women that I like, I feel like okay, what?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I always acted as my gay roommate's gaydar in college because he had none. Which is interesting for a gay guy to have no gaydar whatsoever. But then again, he also had no sense of direction, so really it all worked itself out.
So have Holden go with you.
Yeah, I mean, really what it boils down to is, like, certain cues. Like, if they're wearing flannel.
It's hot though. Flannel's hot.
It is hot.
Like you.
Exactly. I might be a lesbian. I'm just saying. I'm pretty into women. So,
Establish that Jesse's a lesbian.
right, well,
Yes.
when you listen to as much lesbian rock as he does, it just really, there's no other way.
The cranberries are good. Feel like I shouldn't have to defend them.
But also, if they dress exactly like Jesse, they're either into some really weird stuff, or they might be a lesbian. But put a flannel shirt on Jesse, and you've got a perfect example of what you're looking for.
See.
Or
The
they're
same-
at least open to other things.
Yeah, and you can even keep the same haircut, really.
Afro.
Yeah.
It's true.
I feel like that's profiling a little bit though. Or a lot of it, actually. That's
Yeah,
straight profiling.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we don't host a show for our political correctness.
I guess another thing would be actually exactly what you're doing is what I'm doing. Going for women who won't go for you.
I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
I'm really astoundingly good at
So
that.
the unfortunate part is you are doing exactly what I'm doing to attract those women. It's just it doesn't work for you because they would be attracted to you. So problems emerge.
So then why
Yes.
don't you two just trade?
I mean, look, next time I meet a lesbian that I think is attractive and I'll be like, all right, this isn't going to work, but I know someone,
Yeah.
okay?
And you can have the girl with the cattle dog who I've had a thing for like 8 months now. Awesome.
I don't know who she is, but all right.
Brilliant dog.
Stuff your bra if you ever meet a lesbian. It works.
Huh?
Stuff your bra if you ever meet a lesbian. It works.
You tried that.
It doesn't work for me, unfortunately. Is that how you get lesbians? Because I really, as the question is, I'm always attracted to lesbians, and I'm wondering, but if that works.
And you see, Jesse, this is why we do live shows, because not only do we dispense information, we receive
Yes,
information.
we get information back from the audience.
I have never met a lesbian that didn't like a strap on.
sure the lights are turned off though.
Yeah. I swear it's a strap on.
Or at least not.
It's the new technology. They just came out. It
It's
feels
really
super
realistic,
real.
yeah.
Do you have any advice for her for getting the women that I am accidentally into that are lesbians? No? Okay.
I'm clueless.
You don't know how to pick up lesbians. Are you serious?
No, because I've tried, and I always get the straight girls too.
Why don't you take it up then? We just met this evening.
Yeah, I know.
For those of you who just came in, this is Underqualified. This is relationship advice from people who are completely underqualified to give relationship advice, which is us. So if you...
Like drag here, literally.
Sweet. We don't care.
Yeah, we'll accept that, actually.
Your butts in seats, man. It's cool with
I
us.
wish I brought my Johnny Bravo. I would come up.
So if you have a question, feel free to ask. We just answered one, if that is...
How do you get a girl to say yes to anal?
Okay, hang on.
A lot of booze.
No, that's
This
a
is-
terrible, terrible idea.
This is the problem that I was discussing with someone. I was asking, is there any romantic way to suggest anal? Because there's no term for it that doesn't sound just a little bit gross.
Okay, the very first thing, training. You can't just be like, bam, we're doing it tonight. You have to work with her. You have to work her up to it.
Like you have to be like, hey, like,
So, like, maybe...
how do you work up to
Well,
that? I'm curious.
like maybe slip a finger back there.
Yeah. Like,
Sometimes I just, pretend I go in the wrong hole, and when she screams, I'm like, whoops. But
start with like a finger in the middle of sex or something.
I would start with questions, actually, and seeing, like, is this okay? And then working past that point. I feel like that's the starting point.
Yeah.
Is
my women, they can't answer back because they don't have the ability to speak at the moment because items hinder it. But
these are things you should discuss beforehand, then.
Like, along the same time as safety words.
Yeah.
Like,
Marshmallow.
I use Tonka truck.
Really?
Yes.
Tonka
Nice.
truck.
Because no woman can say both words. They can only get out Tonka. It's like, you want me to slow down? Okay.
It's an interesting choice for
It is.
safe word. All right.
I'm not sure if I should be sitting this close to him now.
Yeah. You should probably move like one seat away at least.
We won't judge you if you
Well,
move.
If I move 1 seat away, I'll be sitting in another guy's lap. So I'm kind of.
One seat forward.
I'm sorry we didn't bring the hand sanitizing wipes like we had initially planned on.
We ran out of time before we got here. I'm sorry.
Like I said, I literally got dragged here and cornered here. Now I can't leave.
Awesome.
I wish I had my teleporting powers because then I would be.
Well, since you're here, I know you have a question about relationships.
Absolutely. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Peer pressure.
Do you want an in-character question or an out-of-character?
Any question is cool.
How do you get? Let's see here. Let's see. Well, as many people know, Loki has many children. I have some kind of snake dragon thing, an 8-legged horse, and a woman of some sort who reigns over hell. So it's like,
Sounds like a fun night.
I guess the question is how do you get women to stop coming to you?
What an interesting problem to have.
Actually,
How
it's
do you-
not as hard as you would think.
It's cool having bitches kneel in front of you and everything, but a guy can only handle so much.
I'm just saying, with the Norse mythology, though, all you've got to do is be the nice guy like Balder. In which case, your brother kills you because some a-hole passes off an arrow that kills
Well,
him.
Thor already killed me once, and I had to go through the whole puberty thing again, and it's not fun.
Right, but little Loki totally has a sense of morals, which is an important thing because he's already with little Hell.
Big tits and good dads. That's the priority thing right there.
But, I mean, the main thing to take away from this, as far as comic books are concerned, is be a nice guy, but be way into your job.
No, it's one of those. You're such a nice guy that you're really very bad.
Well, I mean, those already exist. Like, Tony Stark is a raging alcoholic. I mean, he's a good guy, but he's kind of a douche. Batman has bitches like, whoa. He's also kind of a dick.
It's just funny because I ship that pairing, and I've actually got it all over me right now. I've got Tony Stark and Loki all over me. So it's like, of course the villain gets stuck with the asshole. So Story of my life.
Also, welcome to everybody that's here.
Yeah,
we
hi,
are
new people.
underqualified. We are here to answer your relationship questions, even though we are not qualified to answer your relationship questions. We will answer any and all, serious or not. We've already tackled such difficult issues as anal, comic book romances, and other weird stuff.
No, you tackle for anal. Got it. I'll take all my Pokemon that move tonight.
Yeah.
Penis used.
So, who else has a question? Any relationship question? Because I know you got them. Everybody has relationship questions. Like, this is an overarching thing. I heard words, so you must be speaking. Oh,
Why are all the good girls taken?
That's a misnomer.
it is.
Oh, what?
It is. That is a misnomer.
I'm dressed as a Batgirl, but I'm not taken. I promise.
You see, your question is answered
Bam.
quickly.
Yes.
But once again, it's a misnomer. I mean, good for you might not be good for someone else. But that's also like saying, why is it that the nice guy always finishes last? When the nice guy doesn't always finish last, maybe he comes early.
I'm a silver medalist, baby. Always come.
I think also from a slightly scientific standpoint, people who are in relationships, generally, not always, because, some people act weird in relationships, but people who are in relationships generally have a more outgoing persona and have a little bit more confidence. And that actually changes both pheromones and chemicals and how they work in their brain and people how they perceive them. So technically you might be more attracted to people who are taken because of those reasons that you're not fully deciphering. And that's why you think all the good people are taken.
You always want what you can't have.
Also, you always...
Yes.
Otherwise, I have Tom Hiddleston right in front of me.
And this is the good thing about live shows. The wisdom goes both
Yes.
ways.
The real thing is with that is that most people are shy around the things they want. Like, most people don't believe they can attain the things they want.
As we
Yeah.
Yep. Just be yourself.
love triangle.
Because
sorry.
everybody's afraid of the word no and rejection.
When you've
Yes.
been rejected enough times, you don't want to get hurt again.
Exactly. When you've been rejected that much, it's like,
One thing to counteract with that. Have no shame. If you can't have it once, just try again, probably in 2 or 3 months.
after the ice cream binge and the depression is over, you get back up and you try
Yes.
again.
I mean, sure, you got to do some sit-ups to get that ice cream off the gut, but by God!
There's a Japanese proverb I always follow. It's like fall 7 times, get up 8.
I like the you can learn 1,000 things from defeat, but only one thing from victory. So that's
Yeah.
pretty much the moral of the show. We're all defeated, but we've learned so much from it.
One of my favorite quotes from Walt Disney is that no matter what life throws at you, you keep moving forward and opening new doors.
Precisely.
Yep.
I can't wait to be free.
So to add to your question, all of that.
Yes.
It's like
That's
when life gives you lemons, you don't take the lemons. You turn them into lemon grenades and you throw them back at life.
that would work too. Yeah.
Yes.
Or
So-
when life gives you lemons, you wring money from them. And then you hold that fistful of money at the heavens and you say, "This is what you get, life!"
I hate that game. Always fail.
All right.
Always fail college after you can. I'm like, you racist son of a...
That's okay. I played life one time, had 12 children.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've had to have multiple cars filled with children
Yes.
by the end of life.
Yes.
Yeah, we're using Scotch tape to tie them together and drag them behind cars because I had so many children. Yeah. It is. Tape your kids together and drag them behind the car. Yeah. So who else has a question? Because again, I know everybody does.
How would you get rid of a cycle?
Ooh.
Does stalker count? Because I have personal experiences with stalkers.
I think it depends on
High
how
five.
crazy your stalker was.
Mine wasn't that crazy. She knew, it was when I was in college, and she knew my schedule, and I did not know this. We talked online, 'cause she was a friend of a friend, and was like, hey, And then she knew my college schedule. She knew where I parked, and I didn't park in the same place every day. Like, she knew where my classes were and, like, what I was wearing each day. Yeah, and she just came out and told me this, and I was like, oh.
Question, was she hot?
Yeah.
What are you complaining for?
It was more, I was a bit weirded out more than
You missed
complaining.
the general underqualifications
Yeah.
there at the beginning.
Let me put it this way. Hot sometimes is not good. Like, if she's crazy, and I'm talking from personal experience,
Yeah.
crazy can sometimes turn out really bad, even if she has like the best person on the planet. Yeah.
It's like if she has a shrine to you, that's when you know that it's past the point of crazy.
Yeah,
Well,
when
I mean,
she's
it
got
depends
the
on if
shrine.
it's just pictures that she stole from your house or it's hair that she stole from your brush, you know? I mean, it's varying levels.
Golden's beaver hair went for $48,000. I'm trying to get every.
See, you
color in the
think
world.
that they're crossing the line, but the hair one is definitely crossing like a this is probably illegal sort of line.
Both of them are crossing different lines, granted, but they're like on different spectrums. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, man, if she's breaking into your house and stealing your pictures, that's just flattering. If she's taking your hair, that's a little weird.
What? Also,
I would say creepy, not flattering, actually. If some guy had random pictures of me stolen from my house and his house, I would be way creeped out.
yeah, that'd be creepy. Can you clarify type of psycho? There are a lot of different types. Like, is
Keying your car, using their iPhone or your iPhone to track where you are.
Keying your car, call the cops.
yeah,
I don't know. But
that's restraining order.
Yes.
They're destroying your property.
Yes.
like, is it knowing where you are, your GPS? It's not a serious question.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
no,
the
that's-
wonderful thing about technology is it really doesn't matter because, like, you could go to Chuck E. Cheese and Facebook's going to say you're at Chuck E. Cheese. Like,
Stalking is way too easy.
yeah, we've
It
gotten
is.
to a point where, like, even lions have GPSs on antelopes. This shit is not working out anymore. So, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's like you have to weigh how much technology you really want to let into your life if you're afraid that somebody's going to figure out where you are and come key your car.
You're at the gas station buying a Coke. Okay, don't tweet about it.
Right, well, I mean,
Thank you.
Yes.
you could
Yes.
see a celebrity at the gas station, and that's important. Your friends need to know.
That is
Instantly.
very unlikely.
Too important to
did that
fill their own car with gas.
But, I mean, you know, once again, it comes down to, like, how much do you want to let people know about your life, you know? Because really, you're the one that's also giving out this information. It's not just like, hey, check it out, the web.
I would say also, depending on what, like, how much feedback you like, is this a person you know, and then you would just kind of cut ties with them. If it's someone who's just stalking you, that's like restraining order material.
And restraining orders are actually pretty easy to acquire. You just go down to your local sheriff's office, you talk to them for a little while. It's not a bad game.
And it's not always any issue if they expire information because they can just go online and buy information about you.
I mean, there's not much you can do about that other than go down to your local sheriff's office and talk to them for a little while. I mean, they have crimes like cyber stalking now. You can actually get somebody on that. That's a fingerprint release. But they haul them in. That's good news. Yes.
So that's how you get rid of a psycho.
The cops.
Because my mom and me both tried to get like a restraining order for her husband at the time, who was threatening to hurt us both, and this was going on for like months. And they were like, "It's not enough. If he hasn't hurt you, we can't give you the restraining order."
See, and that's weird because there's actually a crime for communicating threats, which, like, you know, that's actually like seeing time. So,
Probably because there was a marital status there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd
but,
be my
like-
guess.
hell, then you could just say it was a domestic situation and they're locked up for a minimum of 48 hours.
Right.
You know, the law, it's fun. It works for you when you're in a bad relationship. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Who else has a question? Serious or not. Pertaining to you or a friend, perhaps.
I was going to say, I think we just took a turn for too serious there for a little bit.
What if you're dating a girl and tell my anime version, you find out she has like a tentacle.
Like she wants you to dress up like a tentacle?
She has like a. Have you ever seen it drawn together?
Yes.
Like a princess, a Clara. She has a tentacle or octopus down there.
You know?
So if we're dating someone, let me just make sure I got the question right. If we're dating someone and she reveals that she has a tentacle as part of her body,
well, it's like a tentacle vagina.
A tentacle vagina?
I'd be
Like
okay
little
with
creepy
that.
things come out of it?
Yeah.
I feel like this is the same question as if a girl reveals she has a penis.
Tentacles are way different.
Yeah.
Yes,
Totally
yes, they
different.
are.
That's whole.
Suction.
Yeah.
Not to a man, it's
I think
not.
I've seen a detail like that.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've made several like that. Unfortunately, those do exist on the internet. I mean, once again, it depends on what they can do with the tentacle. And that's, I'm not knocking it. I haven't
Tunnels with
tried it.
suction, maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, you might be weirded out at first, but it's like, check out these mad tricks, and you're like, all right, I'm sold. You know what? Bam.
I mean, as long as it's not like the mini hentai on the internet, because that generally ends in a rapey sort of situation. And
Yes.
That's what they should call roofies, rabies.
and you don't end up on the roof. It's crazy. It's just a silly misnomer right there. What can I say? I'm a film major. I like movies. Sue me. But please don't. I'm not that loaded.
This is a bird.
Yeah.
But no, I think you should be open to that. I mean, come on, there's nuclear, plants and silos and stuff. Like, mutations are going to come about. This is bound to happen eventually. Maybe in our lifetime. It may happen to one of us. Something you got to be prepared for.
Plus, some dudes are into pegging, This is just pegging with suction cups.
What if you're into dating a guy and you find out his penis is actually a tentacle?
Once again, it's,
What kind of tricks can you do? I mean,
I feel like it could do a lot more.
you would really
It's just
have to
the
give it a try
standard.
once, because really, that's a once in a lifetime kind of thing that you see anyway.
Yes.
yeah.
It's like the new and improved edition.
Yeah, just be like, you know what?
It's like it comes with accessories.
I'll give this a
Yes.
shot. If I don't like it, we're done. But hey, I'll not knocking it. Let's try.
And full 6-axis motion control. That's something that the original model doesn't really have.
Exactly.
Maybe yours doesn't.
But yes, that's how we feel about surprise tentacles.
Yes.
Gotta love late night panels.
Huh?
Gotta love late night.
Oh, I know. They're the best. So, dare I ask, who else has a question?
What do you want to know about him?
That is
The answer
too
is
much.
yes.
No, they only work like in movies or theoretically. That is a lot of coordination
That is
between
not
3
true.
people.
They totally work.
That is too much
Is it
coordination.
a friend or a stranger?
Either way, that's still a lot of communication you need to be
See,
communicating.
Jesse, you're naysaying,
Yeah.
and really,
I was on board with tentacles, though, okay?
you know what?
But-
And I'm
But I've
totally
never
okay with
seen a
that.
tentacle before, and yet the threesome I've had, so it's more believable.
Not that much communication, really. I feel like it would just
Well,
be like a
Not
lot of
really,
awkward,
no.
like,
I'm not really
Without
interested in
knowing.
talking while I'm having sex.
Yeah, like, hi, would
Thank
you
you,
like to
yeah.
have a threesome? Sure. Okay.
look, man, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it's kind of natural. It's not like a giant game of Naked Twister where somebody's spinning the wheel and like, okay, guys, get that right hand. Oh, that's penetration. You roll with the punches. So you got a couple more holes to worry about. You'll be all right.
Whoa. Now you're talking 2 females, 1 male.
Oh, no, not necessarily.
no, they,
Oh,
Okay.
I just said holes, my friend.
You said a couple more.
yeah,
You got a mouth and a butt.
beat me to it.
True.
You gotta be careful with those with naked threesome twister. It's all
Yeah.
fair game then.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody breaks out the baby oil, because that's a good way to break something. Not personal experience here, folks. Believe me. All of my bones are intact.
All right, so I hope that answers your question. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the short answer there is yes, please.
Yes.
no,
Right now?
I am.
It's a late night panel. What are you doing later? I'm going home and sleeping. You're okay for now.
Yeah, we haven't. Oh. Ugh.
What were you about to say?
I don't even know.
He was really thinking about the threesome with the tentacle. And that's where things get exciting, because that is a whole new set of tricks, my friend.
That's a game no one's played yet.
No.
This is true.
But believe me, it will be well documented the first time.
How long is this gonna be here?
Till 2, or they kick us out. Probably 2.
I'll be right back.
All right. Goodbye forever.
We love you.
We will miss you.
Download our podcast.
Yeah. We have shows online, by the way. You'll never know.
What if you're dating someone and you find out they're into bestiality?
Ooh.
Question.
But,
Whoa.
ugh. I am super grossed out by bestiality. Like,
Sitting there, dog to an animal shelter.
ugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of all the animals in their house.
Yes.
Ugh.
I mean, yeah, it's an uncomfortable subject, I think, for anybody to breach.
Literally, apparently.
Well, for someone, maybe not. But I'm just like, that falls into the same realm as like, how do you find out that you're into pooping on other people? Like, when does that ever come up in conversation? Like, are you just sitting around one day, you and your loved one watching a movie, and you're just like, I gotta drop a deuce. And she's just like, right now, on my chest. And you're like, whoa, we just breached a whole uncomfortable... You know, so you've really got to wonder, like, how do those things come up? Because you figure that would be something that someone would really kind of keep to themselves unless they knew that you were okay with it, or it was the internet. Because there's a lot of weird shit on the internet.
What if you walk in on them?
Well, then, you know what? It really depends on how much you like your pet.
Let's say you I guess like in a hypothetical situation, like your band, like one of your band members don't want to farm, and you're going to, and they're there, and having sex with animals, and you go over there and you see them. You just can't really get rid of them.
Ugh.
No, you're kind of stuck with your family.
You are.
I just can't get over feeling bad for that animal. Like, that's all that's going through my mind is like that poor sheep or whatever it is. I don't know. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, I think it's like a unanimous vote that that's a no-go.
Yeah, that's...
Rescue the animal and get out.
The answer is oh, I totally forget. What's that word when you all come together and tell someone they have a problem?
Intervention.
Intervention! I kept on thinking intermission.
So yeah, there you go.
Have
now
an intervention.
We've reached a whole new
That's-
thing.
Oh, good. There's a tentacle in the audience now.
Woo!
The question is, whose tentacle is it? That's really... Oh. I'm
So-
less interested now.
So
I'm
it's the new and
sorry.
improved version, right? I mean, I'm more interested now.
Yeah, you got her attention, but mine... Sorry. You've lost it.
What about necrophiliac? Where are they finding the dead people?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that like a role-playing thing, or is that like they're actually going out and finding dead bodies thing?
Have you heard the show We House Place to Die?
Yes.
Well, there was a guy on there who would actually transport the dead bodies to either the cemetery or something, and before then, he would actually stop and have sex with them.
Okay. You have to ask yourself, what is a corpse giving you that a real person can't? And that's a problem, I'm pretty sure.
The power that you can't get from them by being dominant, I guess. That's what it said the guy wanted.
Was what?
The show it said the guy wanted total control. He couldn't give a real person.
See, but the difference is you can pay a hooker for that, and at
Yeah.
least they're warm. It's
See,
called
there
a
you go.
roofie.
That's even easier.
But I mean, really, like, you know, over in Greensboro, I can tell you where there are some cheap ones, because I used to work right next door to the hood. You could pick them up for a couple bucks, and hell, you could probably have all the dominance you wanted. You might end up with some STDs, so definitely bring protection first. But, you know,
If you don't have any money, how are you going to afford a hooker?
I mean, it's like $5. You can beg for
They're
that.
not expensive.
Like, you can hold a cardboard sign like, need money for hookers. Like, boom, done. That's like an hour's worth of work.
The economy's terrible.
Oh, I know, but come on. Like, the price of prostitution also has to go down if nobody's got money. It's a basic thing of economics here.
This depends on if you're a hooker for a professional
Well,
politician or something like that.
I feel like now we're getting into the differentiation between hookers and escorts. You know, one's a little bit classier. One you've got to pay for and, like, you know, call over the phone. The other one you just pick up on the corner. It's just a quick affair.
Still the same job, though.
You
That's my
say
thing.
that, man. You keep saying that.
Our oldest profession.
I'm just saying.
Escorts are classy.
Yeah, one might wear a nicer dress when you pick her up.
That's because you're paying her more money.
Exactly.
A lot more money.
But you want to know something? I'm a man who can pay for nice things. But I'm still not that rich. Don't sue me.
She does wear Jimmy Choos to bed or not? Jimmy Choos. They're an expensive shoe.
Oh. I'm deaf. I'm sorry. So I apologize now.
He does know extensively about shoes, though. So, that's
do.
within his realm.
It's true. I'm going to act like we answered that question and
Yes.
answer your question.
Yes.
What about a relationship with 3 people in it?
Like an open relation, like just
More just those 3 people.
like
As if it were a 2-person relationship, but with 3 people.
Well, I
Do
guess.
they all agree to it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we talking about like Savages, the movie, where like the 2 guys have a girlfriend and then she gets abducted and they're drug lords?
Minus the getting abducted
Right, well-
and drug lords part.
You get rid of that, but they all seem to agree on it. Like, is this an agreement thing, or is this like a I didn't tell somebody and I've got something on the side?
They're all in on it. They all want it like that.
I mean, like, as long as nobody's getting jealous, whatever works for you. But the problem is, eventually, someone will get jealous.
yeah, with 3 people, it's really hard that someone is going to be spending a little more time with it, or someone else is going to get a little depressed about something else and like think that this person's spending a little more time with them, or as you grow as people, like one of them might grow apart from the other two.
That's
and
where
it's just kind of life.
communication comes in now.
True.
If you can talk it out.
I can't like hold a relationship together with one person, so I'm thinking one is more than enough. Like that is like critical mass in my mind.
You are catching on to our ideas Our ideas, he says, motioning to this end of the table.
By I, you mean you specifically.
Yes. Like, I don't know. Like, if it works with 3 people, that's fine. But like I said, I mean, it's almost always going to end with someone getting jealous or someone just kind of drifting away. In which case, hey, great for 2 people. And if this person found happiness, bravo for them. But, like, the jealousy thing is eventually going to tear that group of people apart.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you can avoid. It's human nature. Like, we're all just going to be jealous. Hell, it could be like them sitting around one day just being like, I really like this actor in a movie, and all of a sudden, like, that sparks the argument. You know? But like, if it works, it works. Hey, break out the twister mat. It's gonna be good times.
Also depends on the relationship dynamic. I kind of ended up getting sucked into another couple's relationship because they couldn't communicate unless I was there. And so they were dating each other for months. But every time they needed to actually like talk about anything serious, I had to be with them because they couldn't understand each other. But apparently the sex was amazing and they were like, willing to work through it. But they hated each other unless I was in the room, at which point they were like madly in love and both of them liked me and I liked both of them, but not in a relationship-y way. So it gets really complicated when you remove one person and then the other 2 have to communicate if it's a 3-person relationship rather than 3 sets of 2.
I feel like in a healthy relationship, any 2 people
Yeah.
should be able to communicate with
Yeah,
each other.
That's the problem. That
Yeah.
doesn't always happen, and it's not always jealousy that gets you. Sometimes it's the fact that he referred to her thunder thighs, and there wasn't someone to sit there and go, no, he's really, really socially stupid, and he was really trying to make that a compliment. He just really sucks at it.
See, I feel like they just kept you around actually as like a damage buffer, and they were
Yeah.
still saying these things to each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they were like,
For months.
you know what's easier than taming our tongues? Damage control. We can just get someone in for that. That'll work.
We did invitations for threesomes, which they didn't understand why I turned down.
Mr.
They were
Matt.
Like, you're one of us too. Just, no, I fix your problems. And then leave.
Bring the tentacle.
Yes.
Bring the twister mat, bring the tentacle, it'll be a good night. And if you make it weird enough, you won't even get invited back.
See, there's a note for me.
I know.
Like that.
That's a lot of problems solved in one go.
Bring a jar of peanut butter, you won't go back to their house.
Yep.
Ask if you could shit on their chest.
That's you stole it from me, Zan. I was gonna bring up the pooping on chests. Yeah, I'd be really surprised when they're like, "Oh yeah, totally." Like, go for it. It's like, "Oh, whoops.
Wait, I'm not sure about that.
I've got a shy bowel system. Sorry, it's not bladder."
And run.
Yeah, just run.
At least you have the experience.
Plus, you've already knocked out the other part of finding out if you're into it or not, you know?
Yeah.
These are really important things that sometimes you've just got to discover.
Because you might try it and be like, that was pretty fun. I could see doing that again in like,
Well, I'm just saying,
24 to 48 hours.
Every time I walk my dog and she shits in someone else's yard, she's super excited about it, so
There could be something to it.
I'm just saying, I'm not knocking it yet. I've not tried it.
Yeah.
I'm not really looking forward to trying it because that's going to be a gross mess to clean up. But
Leave it for them to clean up.
Ex-
Run.
Yeah, there you
Run. Do it and run.
The problem is, I'm sorry for everybody. The problem is who's getting pooped on. Because if it's you, it's like chest hair.
Obviously, you're the one doing the pooping.
Oh, okay.
Because you're initiating. And then you just run.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, if it's me
Deuce and run?
if it's me
Yes.
getting pooped on, we've got problems.
Yeah.
We have a lot of problems. Because I can tell you, without having to try, that's not something I'm into.
Next question.
Well, actually, it's about time for us to wrap up.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, it's
Oh, it
1:59. Wow. Okay. We do this as a podcast I host, Holden co-hosts, and we have a different guest every week. Christy has been our returning guest a couple times, and she's so awesome we wanted her here today. But yeah, over at finelygroomed.com, we have some flyers we can hand you guys so you won't forget, and you'll visit our website and we'll feel popular. Yeah. And we do this every 2 weeks. We answer questions that people send us anonymously from our website over the internet. We're also on iTunes. Just look up Underqualified. So thank you guys so much for being here. And
Thanks for the laughs. It was
Yeah.
heartfelt, really.
And thanks for
gang.
the back and forth. Like, we learned. I learned about tentacles. This was good. I didn't know that before. Learned
And
about
pooping.
And pooping. I
We
knew
still
about
didn't
that.
answer the
Important
question
thing.
of scaly or slimy. Scaly or slimy?
Why can't you have both? That's mine.
Suction cups.
Yeah.
Right, but scaly or slimy?
Scaly on the outside, and then like kind of got a film of slime all over it. Yeah.
I could get behind that.
Nice. But yeah, seriously, it's 2 o'clock, so we got to wrap up. But thank you all for coming. People who started here, and people who came in late, and people who left. So visit our website.
And people that stayed, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
and people
you,
who stayed.
especially.
Yeah. So yeah, check out our website. We do these. It's fun. I'm done talking. Have an excellent night and enjoy the rest of the con. Yay!
Yay!
I like the tentacle clap.
Yes.
That's my favorite. Music you heard at the beginning of the show and you're listening to now is by Mankind is Obsolete. Thank you so much to them for letting us use your music without paying you anything because we don't have any money to pay you with. But if you like their music, you can get it on their website or from Amazon.com. And if you're listening to this on our website, links for both of those are below where you hit play or download for this podcast.
There's no place for truth when there's no room for change, and empty motions are all that remain. It's burning me up, it's taking its toll. This life you